You know, is it that for you? Like, oh, I haven't been on a plane. I need to play. I just need to play.
It is a bit like that. Yeah, it is a bit like that. There's an added layer when you're in front of an audience because there's something that happens as you do that, as you explore your feeling through, especially when it goes through other people and back to you. You kind of just learn how you're doing. Oh, I see. I'm feeling like that. But yeah, there's a feeling you get when you haven't played in a while, and you can sort of play. You can play shows.
You can always tap your fingers.
You tap your fingers, do some things. You can do that, but there's a particular kind of play that I was kind of getting into there, which is more about you take a starting point, and often a starting point is a strange place, or maybe it's a pleasant place or a gnarly place or whatever, and then you sort of, as you untangle it, it's an immense feeling of catharsis in a sense. You sit and think, oh, that's the human in me singing, you know, and doing things. But there's an interesting thing that happens as a songwriter, because improvisation is one thing, right? You improvise, and all the great composers, someone like Johann Sebastian Bach, he was like a master improviser on the organ. I wish I could have heard him improvise. But a composition or a song or a piece or a production is like composition in stop time. So I'm going to play this. Oh, okay. Now I'll play this. I'll play this. Now I'll collide it together and make sense sort of on the canvas. And so there's a funny thing that happens, I think, as a songwriter, where you kind of deliberately put yourself in situations where interesting results, or you try to put yourself in situations where kind of interesting results will come out that hopefully can crystallize. But that can be kind of a hard thing to do. I guess I'm curious, maybe this is more of a question to you, but just as somebody who thinks about ideas and puts them into words, distills them into concrete ideas, whether it's let's do a podcast, or let's put this on the page, or let's have a conversation, or let's put together a presentation. There's something that happens to me on the journey from raw starting point, energy, life input, to distilled output, sensible, kind of done, quantifiable, where part of the energy required to make the idea kind of dies and falls away. Because in distilling the idea, you have to kind of rid yourself of an amount of the infinity surrounding it. But then you whittle it down to this thing. I mean, from my perspective, in my line of work, you could say, as a songwriter, that challenge is always interesting. It's almost like you have to court the idea and keep it alive for long enough for it to continue to sort of burn fuel as you move through the process of raw idea into kind of particularly whittle down idea into sharing the idea, and then in your case into maintaining ideas across many, many years. Like you've said something at this point, and then 15 years later someone wants you to give a keynote on the same principle, in the same way that someone wants me to play a song I wrote 15 years ago. Like how